All right, Ben, this is episode number 3 of our Decentraland series. We're going into a year later, 2023. This is the gameplay series. So if you want to know more about Decentraland, check out our other videos. We're going to go into specifically Gameland. I've got our gameplay. I've got more in the meat and potatoes, kind of the structure of it, but I have got a hidden gem that I discovered. I love when we get into these projects and I'm in the zone. I'm just doing the digging. And then I find a hidden gem. And this gem almost nobody knows about. But I'm going to tell you about it here in just a couple minutes. But here's the meat and potatoes, the structure of the gameplay of Decentraland. Decentraland is a free-to-play browser-based digital playground where you can meet, play, or conduct business with people from all over the world in 3D. It is the number 1 to the market. It is also the biggest in market cap. So they're not playing around and they're just getting started. It's owned by its users through a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO, which is just a fancy name for a group of people who have invested in a project, big or small, doesn't matter how much you invested. And it can be either time and money. This metaverse is built on the Ethereum blockchain, a decentralized ledger that records every transaction and guarantees a record of ownership that anyone that has an internet connection can check out. The question is, why Decentraland? Why Decentraland and why now? Because 2023 is the year of the creator. Decentraland is not just a social experience, it's a digital world where you can create and, if you're capable, can also profit through the use of Decentraland. Their SDK, which is a software development kit, which requires minimal programming experience, and their marketplace where you can sell their digital goods that you've created. You can also buy them there with the use of their token called Mana. The way that you get in there, the way that you do these things is you can start by going to decentraland.org in your web browser. You choose an avatar that's already pre-designed, or you can make your own, and you're going to spawn into what's called the Genesis Center. So you can start from there and walk around, or you can click on the actual map that'll be up in the left-hand corner, and you can spawn right into an actual area or a zone or a store or an experience. There's tons to choose from. If you're ready to start making some mana, start making that digital cash in Decentraland, you can get paid by playing casino games. You can also lose your butt. You can sell wearables in the marketplace. If you're interested in music or fashion, you can bring those to life with the help of their VR and also their onboarding of some of the biggest talents, such as DJ Paris Hilton, Deadmau5, Ozfest, Dolce & Gabbana, DKNY, Estee Lauder, Forever 21, just to name a few. Love Forever 21. Great outfits there. But this is just the beginning. As I hinted to, Ben, while everyone else has been distracted by the bear market and the sketch politics that are going on, Decentraland dropped an absolute game changer back in December of 2022, and almost nobody is talking about this. Decentraland Worlds, it's also known as DCL Worlds, hashtag DCL Worlds, dropped a beta launch in December of 2022. And the only people that I discovered talking about this, I didn't even know anything about this until I discovered this YouTube channel called Block Runner. And these guys have put out several videos. We'll include their link below. So Decentraland Worlds, or DCL Worlds, is a 3D space tied to Decentraland, but it's also called a name. And that name exists separately from Decentraland's map, from their Genesis City, from their original plots of land. It's separate. It's actually infinite in the amount of names or lands that can be created. And the name is basically just a browser name. It's an NFT that belongs within the Decentraland ecosystem, and it serves as a name that can be assigned to your avatar, or you can actually assign it to one of the original parcels of land. So that's a little confusing. Let me break it down a little bit. Let me give you an example here. The name is hosted on the Ethereum blockchain, just like Decentraland, and it's used through their ENS, ENS, which stands for Ethereum Name Service. ENS is like a .com, right? So you use that .ens, the Ethereum name service, at the end of your web address. So for example, if us MetaMentors wanted to mint our own name so that we could build a world on Decentraland, the name would be something like TheMetaMentors.DCL.ETH, which is ETH. That is within their ENS Ethereum name service ecosystem. So then if we wanted anybody to visit our world, we would just give them the MetaMentors.DCL.ETH link. They'd copy paste it in their browser and it would take them directly to our Decentraland world.
Rather than dropping straight into the Genesis world and having to run all over the map or go to the specific spot on the map. This is something that you can link more standard to, or, a business card. You could say, here, come see me in Decentraland. It's like being able to take somebody straight to your store in the real world, except you're in the virtual land. Makes it so much easier. The more you get into these metaverse projects, the more you'll see that it's not necessarily hard to navigate, but they're big worlds. It's like going to the mall, saying, hey, come see me at Sunglasses Hut at the mall. It's like, okay, well, I don't know what level that's on. Is that near the food court? Is that over here by the arcade? But you're able to go here. Go to this address, takes you straight to the DCL world, takes you straight to what we've got. It exists within and outside of Decentraland.
Exactly, which, is perfect. That's a perfect explanation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ben, so as I was kind of mentioning, Ben and I could share this MetaMentors name with anyone we wanted to come and visit our world. We would need to build it out with the help of Decentraland's SDK software, which is their software development kit, or we could even purchase an experience that someone else built through the marketplace or on OpenSea, I believe also, or you could actually contract with someone to build out our world too. So they come and visit us. Originally, these DCL worlds, although they're infinite, they're limited on size. Originally, they were limited to 100 megabytes and only 100 people or 100 avatars at a time on your world or in your world. They were also limited to the size of only like equivalent to 4 parcels of the Decentraland. Since then, just last month in January, they lifted that. It's still restricted to 100 megabytes in the 100 avatars at a time, but it's infinite. It's not restricted to 4 parcels now. It can be as big as you want as long as it stays within that 100 megabytes. So it's unlimited. The main goal of these DCL worlds is to lower the cost of entry into ownership of Decentraland, makes sense, and increasing the number of creators and experiences with Decentraland. Obviously, the more people you come to Decentraland, whether it's through their Genesis, their primary plots of land, or coming through the actual DCL world links, the better it is. You're getting that name out there, and we're all getting exposure through ease of use. To me, this is much closer to what we know the metaverse is going to be, as opposed to just going to a specific world like Decentraland or Sandbox or Somnium Space or Next Earth. One little fun item that they've added here that is really, really pretty cool. It's a unique thing that DCL Worlds is that you can make it exclusive. So as I mentioned, you can only have 100 visitors at a time within the world, but you can create your own NFTs that are required to access your world experience, such as a wearable. So like, say we create, we're going to all our subscribers are very many subscribers. We're going to create a hat that's an NFT. And to get into our world, you have to have this NFT, a hat on your avatar within your wallet. So when you access our world through the browser link, if you don't have that hat on your avatar within your, that's also attached to your wallet where all your NFTs are held, you cannot access our world. So now you're creating a limited environment. You're creating some excitement. You're creating some demand. If you actually have a world that's providing some value, where a limited amount of people, just like the Rihanna NFT that you just talked about in this week's episode of the news, there was only 300 of them. So Rihanna is a superstar. A lot of people want to be involved in her world and want access to what she's doing. If you got some value, whether you're a $1 billion company or you're just a small YouTube star, you're bringing some value. could create these limited NFTs that people have to actually access your world. So Decentraland just continues to pop out these, really cool little items as they're building things out that are putting them above some of these other worlds that make it more and more exclusive. So I don't know about you, but I can already picture these things happening. So much so that the MetaMentors is not just going to be using it as an example. We're going to be purchasing our own DCL world, and we don't know where this is going to lead yet, but we're hoping we'll be able to host some YouTube episodes and some, maybe some gaming and just some really, really cool stuff within the actual metaverse. So although we own land and NFTs and other projects, we don't have an actual working metaverse at this time, and this might change that pretty quick. That is what I have on the structure of the gameplay. One last final note, this DCL Worlds is such a big deal. I'm going to be continuing to cover it on our next episode of Decentraland Lands. So be sure to tune into that episode here in just over a week.
That makes sense. And one of the things that's great about metaverse projects and Decentraland specifically is we've divided this up into land, gameplay, tokenomics, and the team that has developed it. But really, they all just stack on top of each other. They're all intertwined. I mean, you can't get into gameplay without going, well, yeah, but you got to go to this person's land or this company's land that they've purchased. And so the land, the gameplay, everything is intertwined. So even though we have these specific areas that we're focusing on, like I said, there's no point in knowing about the land if you don't know what you can do on the land. And that's where you're actually playing the game and actually living the experience. One more thing about what you said before we get into what I'll show is you mentioned getting like a MetaMentors style hat or some sort of a wearable that lets you into the DCL world. One of the things we're going to see on the gameplay video that I was working on today is ice poker. Now that I've actually signed up, got in, connected my wallet, now it's real poker. Now I can play for real money or mana or, crypto or tokens. And in order to do that, it is a vetted site. You do have to have one of their NFTs. So I actually couldn't play today because you actually have to buy some sort of a wearable from Ice Poker that does that. It's like a ticket that gives you access into their casinos. I got to run around their casinos and look at other people playing the games. But until you have the NFT, you're not allowed to play. And as slightly frustrating as that was today, I love it because it makes so much sense. It's like, look, if you can't just pop in and pop out, like show us that you're interested. Let us know who you are. You know what I mean? Verify yourself. Yeah. Let us know that you're a real person. And you do that by buying a super inexpensive, very reasonably priced NFT. And it's just like your avatar just then wears like a poker hat, an ice poker hat or a jacket, or they have really basic stuff, or you can have a certain cigar, or they have full-blown outfits where you could just look absolutely ridiculous. And we'll see one of those guys that looks absolutely ridiculous in the casino today. But I just think that's such a good idea. And again, another perfect use of the non-fungible token that the Web3 is. We talk about all the different things about Web3 that makes it good, the blockchain, the tokens, stuff like that. But the NFTs, that may be the biggest when you're talking about global onboarding. The fact that non-fungible tokens.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think it's possible NFTs could be the more superior technology, even more than crypto itself. Even though they are all tokens, we're on one heck of a ride, man. It's going to be, the technology is incredible, but it's also really fun to use, and normal guys like you and I can actually access and create our own stuff. It's pretty cool.
All right. So I have actual gameplay. Ryan kind of covered the behind the scenes and kind of the stuff, the experience of Decentraland. I just went in and got to play some of the games. Last week we talked about it. I was playing from the browser. This week I downloaded onto the computer a million times better gameplay. I recorded from my video editor the screen. I have one of those super widescreen videos.
Why describing it as wide doesn't do it justice. Exactly how wide is it then?
This wide. It's
48 inches, didn't you say?
49.5 inches, but only like 12 inches tall. So it's like one of those super weird widescreens. You'll see the ratio when we start watching it. But so I got to play this game. The video editor to the game makes it look a little bit choppier than it is. When you're playing games like Call of Duty, you can actually slow down how fast it moves when you're moving your mouse and you're moving your guys. I did not find that setting on this. So it is a very fast game. And if your computer can handle the graphics, it moves very fast. The video editor struggled to keep up with it. So it might look pretty choppy. It is very fast and very jump all over. Again, I don't play a lot of games, so I don't know if that's normal, but just bear with it on the video. The point is to see the kind of games that they have right now, the kind of stuff you can play, and how easy it was to just jump in and do it. So I'm just going to bring up the stream right now. All right. So this first game that I was playing is called Golfcraft, and I had to look up a YouTube video to figure out how to do it. But it's a miniature golf course. All these games have different NFTs and different prizes, different leaderboards and stuff like that. This one took a little bit to kind of figure out the ins and outs. You can see kind of how it looks choppy. It wasn't that choppy in the game. It's just you're recording a 49-inch screen on a pretty basic video editor, so it looked pretty rough, but you can set it all up, and it's just like the old Candyland golf. If you ever remember playing those Candyland websites, you just got your hole there, you line up, you pick how hard you're hitting, and then you go check in with this old caddy dude, and he tells you what game you're going to play next. And I think in this particular golf game, there's 6 holes in this certain project, and so you have a certain amount of time. You can see the counter up at the top that says, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. This one, I didn't understand what was going on. There was just a brick wall. So I'm trying to hit all the buttons. I went ahead and fast forward through this because I had no idea what was going on. There weren't really good instructions. So I'm trying to hop on that button. I'm trying to look it up on YouTube.
Yeah,
Eventually,
which again is because these are user created. It's not, the Decentraland company didn't make these. These are actually user created. So
right.
Some of them better than others.
And then I found out right here, bink, hit that little red deal. It opens it up. Yeah. So just the whole point of this video is to kind of give you an idea of what some of these experiences are like. And this is actually a pretty enjoyable experience. There was nobody else in this world at this time, but that is stuff that you can do. Ryan and I can invite Ryan to go on a miniature golf date with me. We could go hang out at the, craft golf, I think is what it was called. But you can actually have other people in here, turn on your microphones, and just spend the afternoon playing miniature golf here and running back and forth to this old dude. And I'm going to stop the video right there. So that miniature golf game, very interesting. I went ahead and I must have cut out a couple of the ones that I didn't do very good on a couple of those holes, so I must have just cut those videos out. But
and they magically got cut out. I see.
Right, thanks to my video editor. But yeah, I bet I spent about 4.5 hours playing between last night and today, all these different games. In fact, I don't want to talk bad on Decentraland. Maybe I'll blame it on my monitor. One of these games I played so much this morning that I didn't realize it until I got to the end of a level. I was like seasick, like motion sickness, because I'm watching it on a 49-inch screen and it whips around so fast. I literally was sick to my stomach. I had to go lay down for a little bit, and I thought
didn't have anything to do with the 18 dews you drank before I played.
No, I really don't think so, because I think it was just my eyes were going like this, and it was super enjoyable. But I remember thinking, I wonder if VR would be better if I had the whole thing, or if a smaller screen would be better, because I was struggling. I actually had to go lay down to get my stomach to settle down because I thought I was going to barf. But very enjoyable other than that, other than physically feeling sick. It was a very good time.
That's how legit these games are.
Also, I've got the music and the volume turned down. This sounds just like being at a putt-putt golf course. If there are people talking, you can overhear conversations. I've got all that turned down for the sake of this video for us wandering through there. But this casino that we're walking into right now is the Ice Casino. And it sounds like a casino. They've got slot machine noises in the background. There's people talking. There's music playing. It's very cool. But you can see right here in the middle of the screen, it talks about the Ice wearable. To actually play these games, you have to buy one of these NFTs, and you click on that. It takes you there. You get a jacket or a hat or a watch or something that actually is basically the key code to get you in and allow you to play in these games.
And then you have it forever because it's your NFT.
Forever. So this is what it's called, Ice Poker, Wear, Play, Earn. And earn, it's more like win. You're not earning any. I guess you could play these games. They do actually have free games once you have the NFT. So you can just play these free different card games and actually earn points and win prizes that you can sell on OpenSea or in the Decentraland market. But all these people that are in there are actually people actually playing these card games, which I thought was cool. There was a ton of conversations going on. There was people just talking about normal stuff while playing cards. And I thought, there's definitely something there. There's definitely something cool about that. This is a separate area for cards. I couldn't get in there, but here's some of the wearables. You walk up to those, and they're all different wearables for the casino, and it gives you the straight link to their secondary sales on OpenSea. So if you were like, you know what, I do want to play, you just go up, pick the outfit that you want. You can go to OpenSea, buy it, and come right back and play poker, which I thought was pretty cool.
Since it's on OpenSea, so are those wearables owned by like whoever created that casino game, or if like you had your wearable, you could resell it and display it there?
I'm pretty sure you can display it there is what it looked like, because all of those were different owners, different usernames on OpenSea. So I don't know if you have to pay extra to get it advertised there, or if they just have it set up to where anything from that particular line on OpenSea pops
Interesting.
up.
So there could be an income potential there. Like if you were the creator of that, I mean, you got a secondhand retail store. This just happens to be a casino, but where people can, if you're getting enough traffic or people like it, they could link and sell their stuff. Man, I hadn't even thought about that.
Absolutely. And I mean, when we talk about, for me, one of the hard things to grasp is why location is important in the metaverse.
Yes.
Because you could just go straight to wherever you want. But right here, Ice Poker owns a couple of buildings next to each other, but they don't own this area out in front. You could see kind of this blue field back there. That's all available to purchase. Maybe it's not available to purchase, but it's not developed yet. So imagine owning basically a wearable thrift store right here where you could buy other people's stuff. And once you're playing in these games, then you can win watches, you can win hats, you can win jackets, you can win all of these. And somebody just has to have one of those things to be able to play. So if you have 10 of them, you could sell 9 of them if you wanted to, or 5 of your least popular ones. If you bought the land right next to these casinos, then you can really imagine some of the business opportunities available. And it made sense while I was out actually running around the metaverse going, yeah, if you bought that little lot right there, that would make a lot of sense to have a product like that, or this area in between the two casinos.
Yeah, that traffic. If you've got the traffic, then you could do all sorts of stuff with it.
Next one was called Knights of Antrom. This was just a normal RPG style, like a World of Warcraft style game. You pick who you want to be, what kind of animal you want to be, or what, I think I picked a human. They have elf and stuff like that. You go around and it's just like what I think about when I think about World of Warcraft. You can start by killing chickens, and so you get all the meat and stuff like that, and then you can trade it later. So that was what I did. You have it. The graphics are pretty basic on this. Everything's in the beta process still. So the graphics are basic, but you have a hatchet in your hand, and you go around, you can actually pull the fruit off of these trees. So I was just kind of experimenting with all of this stuff. You could talk to the witches, the villagers, the knights, the bad guys. You can trade stuff. I was fighting this guy until I realized my life bar was also going down. So he must have been hitting me. Like I said, all of this was my first time in there. So I'm not sure the best video game strategy to play here. I was really just whipping through it as fast as I could to try to get some footage. I talked to that lady. Look at this village.
Yeah, it's pretty detailed.
I'm so impressed. Like the stuff we were looking at when we did the Decentraland episode was just out of the browser, and it was cool, but it wasn't that cool.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed with this, not just how smooth the game played, but like the quality of the graphics. You could talk to the guy. He was explaining this was a play to earn game. What you needed to do, that there was, he kind of gave you some hints that there were some secret doors and be careful. And you go in here. I talked to the king. He gives me a free little token that allows me to earn the coin. All of these games, they have the opportunity to pay in either mana or their own in-game token. And so I had this thing where now when I go in there and play, I can passively earn the token from this game. You could trade, you can go around. Basically, Ryan and I talked about it. What game was it we were talking about where we were chopping wood? This game, you can do it. You can go in and for 12 hours chop wood
and sell it.
And then sell it because people need wood. Here's another thing. I found these rocks, and I remember you could mine the rocks. So then I started busting open rocks. And I definitely got bored with breaking open rocks. And I thought, that makes so much sense. If somebody wanted to come in and break rocks for 8 hours a day in the metaverse, they would have so much gems and, the iron ore and stuff that you're getting out of there that you could then go trade it for other stuff or for mana tokens or any other type of crypto. And it really makes sense how there could be a viable economy in some of this.
Yeah.
Then I went back into the village, found Lemony Snicket. I really thought this was cool. There were no other players in there, but it's an open world and they can have other players in there. So I just think this would be cool wandering around with somebody, with a buddy, and you're just talking on the headset and getting to converse and playing these different games. They have a whole ton of games. I tried to just hit up a couple of different types of games. This was a very simple game called UFO Attack. It's set up like Plinko. You remember Plinko from Price is Right? The UFO's going over like this, and you just hit when you want it to stop, and it drops this little ball, and however many points go in there is how many points you get. I think you get like 18 balls, but every 15 minutes, you can go back to this other place and like recharge and get more balls. And then you can see the leaderboard behind me. And then every week, this leaderboard updates, and whoever has the most points for the week earns whatever the NFT prize is. So you can play for free. And if you put in enough time and you get enough points, you win these free NFTs, which then get you access to other games or give you the ability to sell to somebody else later. Excellent. I did try one more. This is called the Wilderness Play to Earn. This one was a little glitchy, and I had to eventually get out of it. They had an opportunity for you to report glitches, but I couldn't get out of the glitch to report it.
That sounds like my tech experience every time I touch something.
It just said, okay, begin by picking some wheat from the ground. So I went and found some wheat and started picking it, but then it never let me see anything else. Just, I could run around, but it wouldn't let me do anything else until I got done with the tutorial. But I don't know if I needed to pick 500 more things a week. That's what I did for 15 minutes was pick wheat. And it kept saying, pick more wheat, pick more wheat, pick more wheat. I think this was about where my stomach started to get sick because I was picking wheat all day and
out in the heat.
Yeah, it was tough. It's tough. It's no joke. But it wouldn't let me do anything else until I completed the little deal. So I got out of that game. But last one I tried out was this Oasis Arcade. It looks like it's still in beta, and a lot of these games require you to play against somebody else. This Liar's Dice game, that's the game that they play in Pirates of the Caribbean. Looks like Yahtzee. They got the cup, and then you make your bet on who's got the higher number. But you can't really do it without any other people in there playing. So they did have some slot machines. This guy was in there. This is the dude with the fancy outfit. You can tell he is all dolled up. And these are just slot machines. You can literally bet mana tokens and play these slot. And if you win more mana tokens. So this is, all this running around. This is 10 minutes of video cut down from about 4 hours of running around to where eventually I had to go lay down because I was woozy. This last thing that I did, it's not really a game, but it was a haunted house across the street from the arcade. So I did wander through the house for a little bit.
A prime example, huh? You're at the arcade, you see something over in the distance, you're like, well, what is that? That's different looking.
Right. Little ghost. It had an NFT collection upstairs, and it's crazy because you can click on those and you can buy those in OpenSea. So people just have like art hanging on the wall. And if you just want to buy that NFT, you have the ability to. And I just...
Yeah, endless games, endless opportunities.
It was really neat. I'm telling you, had I not got woozy, I mean, it was this morning, so it was before we are recording this episode. But you just feel and see a lot of potential, and even stuff like the mana token. What is it right now? Like 60 cents or something like that?
Yeah, 60, 65, something like that, right in that range.
When people start thinking about NFTs and crypto, they're like, well, I don't have $1,600 for an Ethereum, or I don't have $100,000 to buy on an NFT. You're thinking of the top 0.00001%. These NFTs are like, oh, it's 5 mana tokens for this whole outfit. That's $3. And without gas fees, when shit's running on Polygon or inexpensive, networks, it's literally $3. And you can be gambling, fractions of a mana token on these slot machines or in these poker games. And it's like, it just gives people the ability to exchange value for entertainment, for digital goods, without losing so much to the transaction fees, the company who's doing it. Like, it allows you to actually go, look, I've got 15 cents in my pocket. I want to go to the casino and I want to, bet 5 cents a hand or whatever on blackjack and see if I can turn this 15 cents of mana into 30 cents of mana. And it's just enjoyable. Like, we just had the Super Bowl, and everybody knows watching the Super Bowl is fun if your team's in it. But if your team's not in it, you're not as interested in it. And that's why a lot of people end up putting some money on the game. Because when there's just real world value, even if it's a very small amount, $5, $10 on the Super Bowl, I'm just hoping my team wins now, even though it's not really the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll win $10 if they win. So it just allows you to actually experience more real world enjoyment out of this metaverse game.
Yes. And skin in the game, which is what decentralization is, right? Ownership, some actual skin in the game. Getting something for your time and your money.
And like we were saying, if you don't want to spend any money, you could drop into one of those play to earn games and just kill 10,000 chickens and then sell it to people first. Hey, if you give me 5 mana, I'll give you enough chickens to go trade with the witch to get the body armor. You know what I mean? Like, there's all this stuff that you can do if you're just willing to put in the time. And this is why we talk about games like Axie Infinity and some of these play to earn games, these whole projects that are pulling people out of poverty. Because while to a, middle class and above American, it might not seem like, well, if I chop down trees all day, I'm only getting 10, 20, $30. But in the third world, if you can earn $20 American per day for playing video games.
Yeah. And you don't have to travel and do, like we talked about, they might be in coal mines making $3 a day. Like, oh, okay, now you're making more money and you're not losing your health and you don't have to travel across whatever for 2 hours to, like, yeah, it's a whole different world that's hard for us to imagine, but which is why we've seen these explosions of crypto and technology within these poverty-stricken countries. They get it. It's life-changing. It's not just fooling around money.
And then with that being said, if you do have 20 or 30 extra dollars and you're like, I just want to play the fun parts of this game. I just want to go in and play poker. I just want to play poker for $1 a hand. Then it's like, okay, who's got a secondhand poker outfit that I can buy so I can have access to this? And somebody's like, yep, perfect. I just spent 3 days in there. I earned this jacket. I'll sell it to you for $20. I buy it for $20 and now I can go play poker, which is still cheaper than I would spend at a real casino. So I'm happy to spend $20, and somebody who spent all day trying to win that jacket made $20. It makes that real world economy inside this virtual world, metaverse. And that's how this project will keep going. That's how these projects will keep going, by finding a way for people. When you think, how would I work in the metaverse? A lot of people, especially kind of in Ryan and I's field, like firefighter. Well, how can I do my job in the metaverse? How can I do roofing in the metaverse? How can I do this in the metaverse? The only things that I know how to do, the only things that I think about when I think about work, how could I do that in the metaverse? And it's like, it actually has a real world economy. You could literally go chop down trees all day in the metaverse and make money. And that's just blows my mind that that's a real possibility. And that it's not only just happening, but it's like, yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing with real value, not just like jokingly going to go cut down trees. Like when I was playing today, I thought, actually, I'd pay somebody $5 right now just to have enough trees to go, enough wood and
to the next step.
Yeah, to go to the next level. I would pay somebody so I didn't have to chop down trees all day. Now I have to go lay down because my stomach hurts.
Decentraland gameplay. They're the biggest. They're the first, and it's available right now. A lot of these are not. It is
a lot of it's in beta, but a lot of it's very playable. And I'm telling you, I could have spent several more hours in there today. So
good episode. Tune in for our next one. As we talked about, we're breaking down Decentraland this month into bite-sized chunks. Next one will be land. And we've already covered the story and the team. So let's keep it going. We got lots more projects to get to. Good episode.
See you later.